The Illuminati. Welcome. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a world where nothing is as it seems, where the news you read, the leaders you elect, the wars that rage, and the peace that follows are all carefully orchestrated by unseen hands. A world where symbols hidden in plain sight mark the territory of an ancient order that has never truly died. This is the world of Illuminati lore, and for the next hour we're going to descend into its labyrinth together. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm here to lay out the mythology, the history, the symbols, and the theories that have captivated minds for centuries. Whether you walk away thinking it's all elaborate fantasy or unsettling truth, that's entirely up to you. But I promise you this. By the end of this journey, you'll never look at a dollar bill, a corporate logo, or a music video quite the same way again. Part 1. The Birth of the Order. Let's start at the beginning. Not the mythical beginning that conspiracy theorists imagine, stretching back to ancient Egypt or Babylon, but the documented, historical beginning. May 1st, 1776. Ingolstadt, Bavaria. A professor of canon law named Adam Weishaupt founded the Order of the Illuminati. Now, who was Weishaupt? He was a complicated man living in complicated times, educated by Jesuits but growing increasingly skeptical of religious authority and the superstitions that held humanity back. He looked at the world around him and saw monarchy, church, and tradition strangling human progress. He dreamed of a society based on reason, science, and Enlightenment values. But here's the thing. You couldn't just openly advocate for the overthrow of church and state in 18th century Bavaria. You'd be imprisoned or worse. So Weishaupt did what any rational radical would do. He went underground. He created a secret society that would slowly, methodically infiltrate the institutions of power. Members would advance through degrees of initiation, each level revealing more of the order's true purpose. The ultimate goal? To create a new world order based on reason rather than religion, liberty rather than tyranny, equality rather than aristocracy. The name itself, Illuminati, meaning the enlightened ones, was brilliant marketing. It suggested that members possessed special knowledge, that they had been awakened to truths the masses could not comprehend. And in those early days, the Illuminati did attract some impressive minds, writers, philosophers, even nobility. They established lodges, developed elaborate rituals, and began their work of infiltration. But here's where history takes its first strange turn. The Illuminati didn't last long. By 1785, less than a decade after its founding, the Bavarian government cracked down. They raided lodges, arrested members, and officially disbanded the order. Weishaupt fled into exile. By any reasonable measure, the Illuminati died in 1785. So why are we still talking about them 240 years later? That's the question that opens the door to everything else. Part 2. The mythos takes root. When something is destroyed, when it's forced underground and forbidden, it becomes infinitely more powerful in the imagination than it ever was in reality. The Illuminati became a ghost story that Europe told itself. Rumors spread that the order hadn't truly disbanded, that it had merely gone deeper into shadow. And then something happened that would cement the Illuminati in the conspiracy pantheon forever. The French Revolution. In 1797, a Jesuit priest named Augustin Barruel published a massive work claiming that the Illuminati had orchestrated the French Revolution. According to Barruel, Weishaupt's disbanded society had secretly continued operating, infiltrating Masonic lodges throughout Europe, and had engineered the overthrow of the French monarchy as part of their war against Christianity and traditional order. Around the same time, a Scottish scientist named John Robison published similar claims, arguing that the Illuminati had survived and spread to America and Britain. Were these claims true? Almost certainly not. Historians have found no evidence of an active Illuminati conspiracy in the French Revolution. But truth and belief are different countries. The idea had been planted that a secret society could topple kingdoms, that hidden conspirators could reshape the world from the shadows. And once that idea takes root, it grows in the dark like mushrooms after rain. The Illuminati myth became a useful tool. Throughout the 19th century, whenever social upheaval occurred, whenever revolution threatened the old order, someone would whisper, "The Illuminati." They became a convenient explanation for chaos, a way to make sense of the senseless. Revolutions weren't organic uprisings of oppressed people. They were orchestrated by puppet masters. Wars weren't the result of complex political and economic factors. They were engineered by those who profit from conflict. This pattern would repeat itself again and again. When communism rose in Russia, some said, "Illuminati." When world wars erupted, reshaping the global order, some said, "Illuminati." The name became shorthand for any alleged secret elite pulling strings behind the curtain of history. Part 3. The American Connection. Now let's cross the Atlantic, because this is where the mythology gets really interesting. America, from its founding, has always had a complicated relationship with secret societies. Many of the founding fathers were Freemasons, members of a fraternal organization with its own rituals, symbols, and degrees of initiation. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Paul Revere. The symbolism of Freemasonry is woven into American iconography. And this is where the conspiracy theorists' eyes light up, because if you look at American symbols with a suspicious mind, you start seeing things. Take the Great Seal of the United States, the one on the back of the dollar bill. You've got the unfinished pyramid with the all-seeing eye hovering above it, separated from the pyramid by rays of light. Below it, the motto, Novus Ordo Seclorum, a new order of the ages. Coincidence, Masonic symbolism, or evidence of Illuminati influence at the very foundation of America? The conspiracy lore argues that the Illuminati infiltrated Freemasonry in Europe and crossed the Atlantic with European Masons who helped shape the new nation. The unfinished pyramid represents the work in progress, the new world order that the Illuminati is slowly constructing. The all-seeing eye is the eye of their god, of Lucifer, the light-bearer, or simply the eye of the elite watching over humanity. The motto isn't just about a new nation, it's about a new world order. Is any of this true? The Great Seal was designed by several people over several years, incorporating various classical and Masonic symbols popular at the time. The all-seeing eye was a Christian symbol representing God's omniscience long before it was associated with conspiracy theories. Novus Ordo Seclorum is just Latin for a new order of the ages, referring to the founding of a new nation. But conspiracy theories don't traffic in pedestrian historical explanations. They traffic in hidden meanings, in what's beneath the surface. And once you start seeing Illuminati symbolism, it becomes impossible to stop. The street layout of Washington, D.C. allegedly contains Masonic symbols and pentagrams. Major buildings supposedly align with celestial events or occult geometry. Every pyramid, every eye, every instance of certain numbers becomes evidence of the conspiracy. Part 4. The Numbers Game. Speaking of numbers, let's talk about numerology in Illuminati lore. Certain numbers appear again and again in conspiracy theories, imbued with dark significance. The number 13. There are 13 stars above the eagle on the Great Seal, 13 stripes on the flag, 13 arrows in the eagle's talon, 13 leaves on the olive branch. Now, the mundane explanation is that 13 represents the original 13 colonies. But in Illuminati lore, 13 is a number of occult significance associated with Satanism and witchcraft. The fact that America is saturated with 13s becomes evidence of occult foundations. Then there's the number 33, the highest degree in Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Conspiracy theorists pore over the latitudes and longitudes of major events, looking for connections to 33 degrees. They analyze the ages of public figures, looking for those who died or achieved power at 33. And we can't forget the most famous Illuminati number, 666, the mark of the beast from the Book of Revelation. Conspiracy theorists see this number everywhere, hidden in corporate logos, encoded in barcodes, embedded in computer systems. The old Microsoft logo, when you squinted at it right, could look like 3 sixes. Google Chrome's logo is 3 sixes in a circle. Or are they just visual components of a circular design? Depends on who's looking. This is how conspiracy thinking works. It's a form of pattern recognition taken to an extreme. The human brain is wired to see patterns. It's how we survived as a species. But sometimes that pattern recognition goes into overdrive, finding significance in coincidence, design in randomness. The question is, are conspiracy theorists seeing patterns the rest of us miss? Or are they seeing patterns that aren't really there? Part 5. The Modern Illuminati. Fast forward to the 20th century, when Illuminati mythology explodes into popular culture. This is when the conspiracy theory transforms from obscure historical footnote to mainstream phenomenon. Several factors converge to make this happen. First, the rise of globalization and international institutions after World War II. The United Nations, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund. These organizations represented unprecedented levels of international cooperation and power. For conspiracy theorists, they looked like exactly what the Illuminati would create, supranational bodies that could eventually supersede national sovereignty, steps toward the dreaded New World Order. Second, the Cold War and the Kennedy assassination. The revelation that governments regularly engaged in covert operations, that the CIA really did overthrow governments and conduct mind control experiments, that powerful people really did conspire in secret. When the Church Committee hearings in the 70s exposed actual conspiracies, it validated the mindset that nothing is as it seems. If they lied about that, what else are they lying about? Third, and perhaps most importantly, the Internet. Suddenly, conspiracy theorists who had been isolated, dismissed as cranks, found each other. They created networks, shared information, built elaborate theories collectively. The Illuminati conspiracy theory metastasized from a handful of books into thousands of websites, forums, and videos. But the real cultural explosion came through music and entertainment. Hip-hop artists began referencing the Illuminati in the 90s. Some did it playfully, enjoying the mystique and controversy. Others seemed to sincerely believe in the conspiracy. The mythology became particularly prevalent in rap, where discussions of wealth, power, and selling one's soul for success intertwined with Illuminati imagery. Then came the age of the music video. Suddenly, visual symbolism exploded across pop culture, and conspiracy theorists had a field day. Every hand gesture became a secret sign. Every pyramid, every eye, every checkerboard floor, or black and white symbolism became evidence of Illuminati allegiance. Artists like Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Rihanna, Kanye West, and dozens of others were accused of being Illuminati members, of using their platform to indoctrinate the masses with occult symbolism. Were they actually in the Illuminati? Or were they using conspiracy culture as aesthetic, as edgy marketing, as a way to generate buzz and controversy? When Jay-Z throws up a diamond with his hands, is he signaling to his fellow Illuminati, Or is he just promoting his Rockefeller Records brand? When Madonna performs a Super Bowl halftime show full of Egyptian and occult imagery, is she conducting a ritual for millions of viewers, or is she just putting on a provocative show? The genius of modern Illuminati theory is that it can incorporate anything. If celebrities deny being in the Illuminati, that's exactly what they would say. If they acknowledge it mockingly, that's them hiding in plain sight. If they ignore the accusations, that's them staying silent to protect the secret. The theory becomes unfalsifiable, which is a red flag in critical thinking, but also what makes it so durable. Part 6. The Power Structure. Let's dig deeper into what the Illuminati is supposed to actually be in modern conspiracy lore, because it's no longer just about Adam Weishaupt's defunct Bavarian society. It's become an umbrella term for the alleged shadow elite that controls the world. In this mythology, the Illuminati is the inner circle, the very top of the pyramid, consisting of a small number of incredibly powerful families. The names that get thrown around: the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Morgans, European royalty. These families allegedly control the world's banking systems because controlling money means controlling everything else. They supposedly own the Federal Reserve, the central banks of various nations, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank. Below them in the hierarchy are various secret societies: Skull and Bones at Yale, the Bohemian Grove in California, where powerful men allegedly gather for occult rituals, the Bilderberg Group, where global elite meet annually behind closed doors, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission. These organizations really exist. The question is whether they're just networking clubs for the powerful or something more sinister. Then you've got the entertainment industry, media corporations, and tech giants, allegedly controlled by Illuminati interests to shape culture and information. Hollywood is supposedly a tool for social engineering, gradually normalizing ideas and behaviors that serve the elite's agenda. News media controls the narrative, determines what people think about, manufactures consent for wars and policies. Social media platforms now control the flow of information with even more precision, algorithmically determining what billions of people see and think about. The alleged goal depends on which version of the theory you're hearing. Some say it's a satanic conspiracy, that the Illuminati literally worships Lucifer and seeks to corrupt humanity and prevent souls from reaching salvation. Others say it's about pure power and control, establishing a one-world government that eliminates national sovereignty. Some versions include population reduction, the idea that the elite want to drastically reduce the human population to make it more manageable. Others focus on transhumanism, the merging of humans with technology to create a controlled, augmented humanity. There are variations about alien involvement, interdimensional entities, ancient bloodlines tracing back to pre-flood civilizations, or even non-human origins. The conspiracy theory branches and mutates like a living thing, incorporating new elements, adapting to current events, always growing more elaborate. Part 7. The Symbolism Decoded. Let's talk about the symbols, because this is where Illuminati theory gets really visual and memorable. These are the signs that believers claim are hidden in plain sight, marking Illuminati influence. The all-seeing eye, sometimes called the Eye of Providence, or the Eye of Horus. It appears on currency, in corporate logos, in music videos and movie posters. Supposedly, it represents the Illuminati's omniscient surveillance of humanity, or the Eye of Lucifer, or the pineal gland and occult awakening. When you start looking for it, you see it everywhere. CBS logo, AOL logo, the Great Seal, countless album covers, the pyramid, especially the capstones separated from the base. This represents the hierarchical structure of power, with the Illuminati elite at the top, separated from the masses below. The incomplete pyramid suggests the work in progress, the New World Order not yet completed. Pyramids appear in Las Vegas, in corporate architecture, in countless designs. The number 666 hidden in various ways. Tilted letters that look like sixes. Logos that contain three six-like shapes. Google's Chrome logo is popular in these analyses. Monster Energy drink is another favorite, with its scratch marks allegedly forming Hebrew letters that equal 666. Hand signs and gestures. The pyramid made with hands pointing upward or downward. The triple six made by connecting thumb and index finger on both hands and bringing them together. The devil horns hand gesture. The one-eye-covered pose with celebrities photographed making a circle with their hand over one eye or hiding one eye behind their hand or hair. Supposedly, these are ways of signaling allegiance or evidence of mind control programming or just symbolic submission to the all-seeing eye. Inverted crosses, pentagrams, hexagrams, black and white checkerboard patterns, supposedly representing duality, Masonic symbolism, or the chessboard of life where the Illuminati moves humanity like pieces. Owls, representing Moloch or the Bohemian Grove mascot or occult wisdom. Butterflies, representing monarch mind control programming. Mirrors and shattered glass, representing fractured personalities and dissociation. The colors red and black together, allegedly representing Satanism. Purple, supposedly the color of royalty and occult initiation. The color scheme of red, white, and black together appearing in flags and symbolism. Is all of this real communication between Illuminati members, or is it a case of seeing what you want to see? Here's the thing about symbols. They're polysemous, meaning they carry multiple meanings. A pyramid can represent ancient Egypt, architectural achievement, stability, hierarchy, or marketing imagery. An all-seeing eye can represent divine providence, awareness, surveillance, or just a striking visual. When you decide in advance that these symbols mean Illuminati, you'll find Illuminati everywhere. Part 8. The Rituals and Initiations. Now we enter the darkest part of Illuminati lore, the alleged rituals and what happens to those who enter the inner circles. This is where the conspiracy theory intersects with satanic panic, occultism, and genuine horror. According to believers, joining the Illuminati requires initiation rituals that compromise the initiate, binding them to the organization through blackmail and spiritual corruption. The imagery often involves satanic rituals, blood oaths, sexual acts recorded for blackmail purposes, and even human sacrifice in the most extreme versions. The idea is that once you've participated in these rituals, you can never leave because they have evidence of your crimes. You're owned. The entertainment industry version of this mythology includes selling your soul for fame and success. Aspiring musicians or actors supposedly have to participate in rituals, agree to promote Illuminati symbolism and messages, and sometimes sacrifice someone close to them. This theory gets pulled out whenever a celebrity's family member or close friend dies tragically. It wasn't an accident or illness, it was their payment for fame. Then there's the mind control programming, often called monarch programming or MK Ultra conditioning. The theory goes that the Illuminati uses trauma-based mind control to create slaves who can be triggered to perform certain behaviors. Celebrities who have public breakdowns, shave their heads, or exhibit strange behavior are supposedly either breaking their programming or being reprogrammed. Those who try to escape the Illuminati or speak out allegedly get discredited, destroyed, or killed. This part of the mythology explains every celebrity death or downfall. Musicians who die young didn't overdose. They were sacrificed or tried to leave the Illuminati. Celebrities who speak out against the music industry aren't frustrated with business practices. They're trying to expose the conspiracy. Anyone who criticizes these theories or defends accused celebrities is either naive or part of the cover-up. The most disturbing versions involve child abuse rings among the elite, secret underground facilities where horrific acts occur, and the consumption of a substance called adrenochrome, supposedly harvested from traumatized children for its psychoactive and age-defying properties. These theories blend ancient blood libel conspiracies with modern fears about human trafficking and elite depravity. Are any of these rituals real? The honest answer is that while elite circles certainly engage in hedonistic behavior, private parties, and ethically questionable activities, the specific satanic rituals and child sacrifice allegations have never been substantiated with credible evidence. The challenge is that real abuse and conspiracy do exist in the world. Powerful people do sometimes protect each other, and that grain of truth makes the more extreme allegations feel plausible to believers. Part 9. The Predictive Programming. One of the more fascinating aspects of modern Illuminati theory is the concept of predictive programming. The idea is that the Illuminati telegraphs its plans through entertainment media before executing them, either as a form of ritual revelation, a way to measure public reaction, or a method of conditioning the population to accept what's coming. Believers point to movies, TV shows, music videos, and even video games that seem to predict major events. The most cited example is 9/11. Conspiracy theorists have compiled extensive lists of pre-2001 movies and shows that featured the Twin Towers in ominous contexts, scenes showing their destruction, or dialogue referencing the date or terrorism in New York. The Simpsons, The Matrix, various thriller movies. Was this Hollywood's crystal ball or just the logical targeting of iconic buildings in disaster scenarios? The COVID pandemic brought a new wave of predictive programming claims. People pointed to movies about global pandemics, TV shows mentioning coronaviruses, simulations like Event 201 that modeled coronavirus outbreak responses. The pharmaceutical industry and health organizations were supposedly using entertainment to prepare the population for a planned pandemic. Every major news event gets this treatment: natural disasters, terrorist attacks, economic crashes, political upheavals. Believers comb through media looking for predictions, warnings, or encoded messages. Sometimes the connections are startlingly specific. Often they're extremely vague, relying on broad themes that could apply to many situations. Music videos are particularly rich territory. Artists supposedly encode messages about upcoming events, warn about what's coming, or simply flaunt the elite's plans because the masses won't believe it anyway. Lyrics get analyzed for hidden meanings. Imagery gets decoded as symbolic communication. This raises an interesting question. If the Illuminati is so secret and powerful, why would they announce their plans? Various explanations get offered. Some say it's occult law, that they have to reveal their intentions for karmic reasons, that consent through non-objection is required for their rituals to work. Others suggest it's mockery, rubbing their power in the faces of the helpless masses. Some say it's psychological preparation, making people subconsciously accept what's coming. The skeptical explanation is simpler. Fiction explores fears and possibilities. Creative people imagine disasters and social changes because that's what drama requires. And with enough media produced every year, some of it will inevitably seem to predict future events purely by chance. We remember the hits and forget the thousands of predictions that never came true. Part 10. Breaking Free and the Truth Seekers. An important part of modern Illuminati lore is the mythology around truth seekers and those who've tried to expose or escape the conspiracy. These are the martyrs and heroes of the movement, people allegedly killed or destroyed because they got too close to the truth or tried to break free. Musicians like Tupac Shakur, Michael Jackson, Prince, Avicii, and many others. Supposedly, they were either trying to expose the Illuminati or wanted to leave the organization and were killed as warnings. Every artist who speaks about feeling trapped in the industry, controlled, or exploited becomes potential evidence. Every cryptic lyric about secret societies or being watched becomes a coded message. Politicians and presidents who allegedly opposed the shadow government and paid with their lives. JFK is the most famous, supposedly killed because he threatened to expose secret societies, to dismantle the Federal Reserve, or to prevent war that the military-industrial complex wanted. Abraham Lincoln, because he issued greenbacks instead of borrowing from banks. Any leader who opposes globalist interests supposedly puts a target on their back. Whistleblowers and researchers who allegedly died under suspicious circumstances after investigating the Illuminati or related conspiracies. Journalists found dead, ruled suicides under questionable circumstances, scientists killed in strange accidents. The mythology creates a sense that seeking truth is dangerous, that the Illuminati kills to protect its secrets. But the lore also celebrates those fighting back, the truth community, the awakened ones who see through the lies. This creates an appealing narrative. You're not a powerless individual in a random world. You're a warrior in a cosmic battle between good and evil, light and darkness. You have special knowledge that the sheep lack. You're aware while others sleep. You're dangerous to the elite because you know their secrets. This is psychologically powerful. It transforms confusion and powerlessness into purpose and significance. It provides enemies to blame for the world's problems and a community of like-minded believers for support. It makes sense of tragedy and chaos by imposing a narrative where everything happens for sinister reasons, but at least it's not random. Part 11. The Counter-Arguments. Let's step back and examine the skeptical perspective, because intellectual honesty requires considering arguments against the Illuminati conspiracy theory. First, the problem of scale and secrecy. The alleged conspiracy involves thousands or millions of people across centuries keeping perfect secrets, despite human nature's tendency toward gossip, defection, and whistleblowing. Large conspiracies leak. Someone always talks. The Manhattan Project, involving tens of thousands of people for a few years, leaked. Watergate leaked from a handful of conspirators within months. Yet, the Illuminati supposedly maintains perfect silence across generations. Second, the problem of competence. Governments can't efficiently deliver mail or manage healthcare systems, but supposedly they're secretly coordinating elaborate false flag operations and long-term social engineering with perfect execution. The skeptical view suggests that chaos, incompetence, and competing interests explain world events better than meticulous elite control. Third, the problem of falsifiability. As mentioned earlier, Illuminati theory explains everything, which means it explains nothing. If every event confirms the theory, if every denial proves the conspiracy, if absence of evidence becomes evidence of how deep it goes, then the theory can never be proven wrong. That's not how sound reasoning works. A theory that can't be falsified isn't scientific or logical. It's faith. Fourth, the pattern recognition problem. Humans see faces in clouds, hear messages in static, find significance in coincidence. Our brains evolved to detect patterns because false positives were safer than false negatives. Better to mistake a shadow for a predator than to mistake a predator for a shadow. This same tendency makes us see conspiracies in randomness, design in chaos. Fifth, the problem of symbols. Every major symbol has been used by countless organizations throughout history. Pyramids appear in dozens of cultures. Eyes symbolize vision and deity across civilizations. Numbers carry meaning in every numerological tradition. Finding these symbols in modern imagery might just mean designers draw from the same historical well of archetypal images, not that they're signaling to a secret society. Sixth, Occam's razor. The simplest explanation that accounts for the evidence is usually correct. Is it simpler to believe that a secret society has controlled human history for centuries, or that history is chaotic, that powerful people pursue their interests through visible institutions, that coincidences happen, and that humans naturally see patterns? The skeptical view doesn't deny that conspiracies exist. They do. It doesn't deny that the powerful sometimes coordinate in secret. They do. It doesn't deny that symbols carry meaning or that wealthy elites have disproportionate influence. They absolutely do. But there's a difference between acknowledging these realities and believing in the Illuminati, as traditionally described in conspiracy theories. Part 12. Why the Theory Persists. So, if the skeptical arguments are so strong, why does the Illuminati conspiracy theory not only persist, but thrive? This is actually the most interesting question of all. First, there's genuine power inequality in the world. A tiny percentage controls most of the wealth. The rich do have more influence over politics, media, and culture. International organizations do shape policy without much democratic input. The conspiracy theory takes these real observations and extends them into secret coordination and occult motivations, but the underlying resentment and suspicion comes from actual conditions. Second, institutions have lost credibility. Governments lie. Corporations prioritize profit over people. Media gets things wrong or spins narratives. When people learn they've been deceived about some things, they start questioning everything. The Iraq War was sold on false pretenses. Pharmaceutical companies pushed opioids knowing they were addictive. Financial institutions crashed the economy through reckless greed. Real conspiracies create an environment where even wilder theories find fertile ground. Third, the theory provides meaning and agency. In a confusing world where bad things happen randomly, where systemic forces shape outcomes beyond individual control, where meaning can feel absent, the Illuminati conspiracy offers a narrative. There's a reason things happen. There are villains to identify. There's a cosmic battle to join. You're not helpless. You're enlightened and resisting. Fourth, community and identity. Believing in the Illuminati connects you to a global community of truth seekers. It provides a shared language, shared enemies, shared purpose. In an atomized world where traditional community structures have weakened, conspiracy communities offer belonging. This is powerful, even if the beliefs themselves are unfounded. Fifth, the theory is endlessly adaptable. It absorbs new information, incorporates current events, mutates to survive criticism. When predictions don't come true, the timeline gets adjusted. When evidence contradicts the theory, it becomes disinformation planted by the conspiracy. This flexibility means the theory never dies. It just evolves. Sixth, confirmation bias and echo chambers. The internet allows believers to find evidence everywhere while avoiding contrary information. Algorithms show them more of what they already believe. They watch videos made by other believers, read articles from conspiracy sites, engage in forums where everyone reinforces the same worldview. Breaking out of this bubble becomes psychologically difficult because it means admitting you've been wrong, losing your community, and returning to an uncertain world without clear answers. Closing. What do you believe? We've traveled through nearly 3 centuries of Illuminati lore, from Adam Weishaupt's historical secret society in Bavaria to the modern sprawling conspiracy theory that touches everything from music videos to global pandemics. We've examined the symbols, the structure, the rituals, the evidence, and the counter-arguments. So what's the truth? Is there a shadowy cabal of elite families controlling world events through secret societies, occult rituals, and hidden symbolism? Or is it a modern mythology that helps people make sense of a chaotic, unfair world by imposing narrative and meaning where there might be none? I can't answer that for you. I can tell you what historians say, that the original Illuminati was real but short-lived. I can tell you what mainstream scholars argue, that conspiracy theories arise from pattern recognition, social anxiety, and the need for meaning. I can tell you that elites do coordinate, that power concentrates, that secrecy exists, but that the specific claims of Illuminati conspiracy theories lack compelling evidence. But ultimately, belief is personal. Some of you listening will think this entire mythology is fascinating fantasy, a modern legend no more real than dragons or vampires. Others will believe every word, seeing confirmation everywhere you look. Many will land somewhere in between, acknowledging that powerful people sometimes conspire while doubting the more extreme claims. What I will say is this: be careful about certainty. The people most dangerous are those absolutely convinced they possess the truth, whether they're conspiracy theorists or rigid skeptics. Stay curious. Question everything, including your own beliefs. Seek evidence, but recognize the limits of pattern recognition. Acknowledge real power imbalances without necessarily attributing them to ancient secret societies. The Illuminati, real or imagined, serves a purpose in our culture. It gives shape to our anxieties about control, surveillance, manipulation, and helplessness. It expresses our suspicions about the elite and our resentment of inequality. It provides a framework for understanding why the world so often seems rigged against ordinary people. Maybe the most important question isn't whether the Illuminati exists, but why so many people feel the world is controlled by forces beyond their understanding or influence. What real conditions create that feeling? What actual power structures deserve scrutiny? Where is the line between healthy skepticism of authority and paranoid conspiracy thinking? These are the questions that matter, whether or not anyone is hiding pyramids and eyes in their music videos. Thank you for taking this journey through shadow and symbol with me. Look around you now with fresh eyes. See the pyramids on your money, the eyes in your media, the symbols in your architecture. Whether you see evidence of ancient conspiracy or just interesting historical imagery, at least now you know the mythology, the lore, the story that millions of people believe explains the hidden machinery of the world. Stay curious, stay critical, and maybe, just maybe, keep one eye open. Until next time.